Hi, my name's Katie. I'm a drama therapist, a supervisor and a trainer. And this video I think has been a long time coming. So what I'm going to talk about, and it's a bit unstructured, but I really want to talk from a really genuine place about racism, difference, diversity, and white privilege, and linking that back to drama therapy and the profession I'm within. So what I really want to start off by saying is just really marking that I've been thinking about doing this video for quite some time for myself, to explore where I'm at, but also to have this conversation, to start this conversation within the world of therapy and drama therapy, so that we can really deepen and have long-lasting, effective change, not just tick boxing, not just othering off, not just having the conversation, getting a bit uncomfortable, and then, oh, we've done that bit. And I say that as someone that's been there in the past, as somebody that's taught people, as someone that's a trainer, that's someone that's been there as a student and very much, been in the tick box brigade. I've given this some space to think and respond. And within that, I recognise my white privilege within the fact that I've actually had space to respond and think about this. I'm not in immediate danger. I don't walk down the street in the area that I live in or the places that I go and feel that I might get racially profiled or feel under attack because of the colour of my skin, or judged. My life isn't in immediate danger, and I guess I see my privilege within that I've had space and time to be able to think and respond about racism and white privilege. So that's something that's very striking for me, that I've had the luxury of that. So I also want to acknowledge as well that I certainly know in my past, the way I've looked at thinking about racism is to try and put myself in the other person's shoes, into the black person's shoes or the person of colour's shoes. And actually I need to be looking at it from my position as a white person, because I don't know what it's like to experience racism, unconscious, conscious, seen, unseen racism. And for me to, I can, obviously there's a part of me that can hold and feel empathy and listen to somebody else who's different. But I guess I'm coming to the point where I'm sort of listening to, actually I need to look at it from, I'm a white person, and so my experience is from a different lens, from someone who's black or mixed race or a person of colour, and their experience, your experience of racism, to sort of really have the understanding, the perspective, the lens that I see it through, and recognise the difference and the challenge of that. Also very aware and recognising now, again, this is something that I haven't ever had to deal with, and it was made very clear at a conference I went to at the weekend. When we talk about race and racism, or racism, how traumatizing and re-traumatizing that can be for people that have and are experiencing racism. And that's something that I haven't thought about and considered before, because I've never experienced that. So really with this video it's an invitation to meet with me wherever you're at. So if that means not watching the video, then that's okay. If it means being angry, or if it means wanting to start dialogue, or whatever it means to you, then that's the invitation. So really, I'm just trying to articulate, and I'm aware that I'm waffling now. I'm just trying to articulate some of the thoughts and some of the realizations of where I'm at as myself personally, as Katie, but also as a drama therapist, supervisor and trainer. And yeah, I really want to highlight those bits, because for me there's been a big gap in education, and we need to start really making diversity and difference and recognising racism, and institutionalised racism, and really naming that and making it making that recognition a core part of all of our work and our trainings, so that we can have these conversations and hopefully start to actually acknowledge and break this down. And I know for many of you watching this, you've already been doing this work, you're actually already experiencing it. I've felt that I was doing the work, so to speak, but I'm really realising over the last month or so, you know, how much of a gap, how much of a blindness I've had around this, and how much I need to really look at my whiteness and my privilege. So yeah, that's what this video's about. So I think one of the starting points, I just wanted to introduce myself, because I do firmly believe that if you know yourself, if you know your background, you know who you are, then you're going to be in a more secure space to be able to recognise difference, acknowledge difference, and give space for that, but also recognise what's going on for yourself, what's going on internally for me, where my prejudices are, where's my gap. So I did some training. I was in a training group many years ago, and it was about culture, and I realised I don't feel like I have a culture. So I'm just going to introduce myself, because I do have a culture, but I just don't. The idea of culture to me has been like it's this exotic other, and that I'm bland and boring and don't have a culture. So that within itself, you can see how that can become problematic. So my name's Katie. I'm from Essex. I'm a triplet. I live in a very predominantly white town. I did spend 10 years in a culturally diverse part of London when I was training and when I first qualified as a drama therapist, but that was a while ago now, so I feel like I'm in a very a place where there's a real lack of diversity, of any form of diversity really. I've got parents who come from working class backgrounds, but I would say we're pretty affluent, so from the diversity perspective of class, I feel like I haven't really, you know, I've been okay. I've been okay. There's been some struggles, but I've very much, you know, I've been able to be supported in life by my family. So that's me, and I recognise within that, yeah, there's an ongoing thing with What is my culture? Who am I? What am I doing? And then how do I respond when I see other cultures? Do I get a bit jealous? Yes. Do I feel bland and boring? Do I other off cultures and make them exotic? Yes. So I really need to become more and more aware of that and look at that, because ultimately that's stuff I need to be aware of when I'm working with people. You know, am I bringing that into the therapy space? Am I bringing that into the supervision space? Am I bringing that into the training space? So I'm really trying to heighten that awareness. A story, a true story that's been going around in my head since George Floyd was murdered and Black Lives Matter, although obviously it's been around for quite a few years, I guess I really started listening, because I haven't listened in the past, or I thought I was listening. But I really was passively listening and not responding. So this story, it just sums up when I start thinking about white privilege. So I've really had to look at my white privilege and everything that, the knottiness, the difficulty, the embarrassment, the shame that comes up with that, and the reality that it's very much there. So when I was at school, when I was doing my GCSEs, we were putting on a pantomime, and we were going to, we toured around the schools in the local area. So we auditioned for the pantomime, and I desperately wanted to be the Wicked Witch. And there was another girl in the class. She's a black girl, and she wanted to be the witch. And we both auditioned for the part. And I remember the drama teacher pulling us aside and explaining to us that I would be getting the part of the witch, because this was in the 90s, so you can really see where the flawed thought process was here. The reason that I was going to be the witch wasn't that I was better at performing the character of the witch. It was because the primary schools we were going to, the drama teacher, and this was true, felt that some of the children that were there, there was a high level of racism, particularly towards black people. So to cast my black friend in the witch's role, the drama teacher felt that it would be reinforcing a negative stereotype of a black person, that they're evil. So she was given the part of I think it was the good witch, or it wasn't the good witch, it was the fairy, the fairy godmother, that was it, the fairy godmother, and I was given the part of the Wicked Witch. Now when I look back on that now, well, no, at the time I knew it wasn't right, because I couldn't understand why we couldn't both be the witch. I just couldn't understand. We were being told that we were both capable of doing these roles, but she couldn't play that part because she was black, because other people were racist. So it then became her responsibility that these children's parents were potentially racist. So that's white privilege right there. It just makes me so angry thinking about it now. So as a white girl, I got the opportunity. I could have been the fairy godmother, I could have been the Wicked Witch, which I was. I could have played any role, because I could, because of my white privilege. But the black girl, she couldn't, because she had to be put into the role to teach other people about racism and not to stick to a stereotype. So yeah, that just and I'd like to think that things have moved on, and I'm sure people will say, I'm guessing that it hasn't. So that story's really struck me. The fact that I had opportunity, so much opportunity then. My skin colour allowed me to have the full range of roles, and I didn't have to educate anyone on racism. But because of her skin colour, she got denied a role, and then she was used to educate white people's children not to be racist. And then I think my journey after that, going into the early 2000s, was working in adult mental health and living in a diverse community. I switched on my colour blindness tap, which, yeah, not good. So I suddenly became colourblind. I see no colour, everybody's equal, no recognition of difference, no celebration of the differences that we all hold. No, it just means you just don't recognise. Again, I know that people watching this, black people, people of colour, I know you know this already in your roots, in your veins, you know, and it's coming as no surprise. But for me, at that point in time, see no colour, totally colourblind. So I think I've kind of spent the years since then doing bits of diversity training. I actually had some really good cultural and diversity training when I trained to be a supervisor, which was very upfront, very looking at our culture, very much looking at our prejudices and our judgments, so that we knew what our baseline was first. So we recognised it's there, it's out the back. I can be racist. I have prejudices in my head about certain types of people, and it makes me respond in a certain way. But the more you know that, the more you're aware of it, the more you can work with it. And then as a therapist, as a drama therapist, then you weave that into your work. So I think where I'm at now is, obviously it's an ongoing process, but I'm really recognising that for this to actually be long-lasting, actual change that's meaningful, is that we've got to keep having this conversation, raising the awareness, know ourselves, keep educating ourselves, be honest with our prejudices. I'll be honest with my prejudices, be honest with my past, keep looking at my culture and who I am as a person, and when I feel threatened, and then how I'm going to ladder that back into therapy and training and supervision. I've got a long way to go, but I think it's an ongoing process as well. I don't think maybe that's what we've done in the past when we've done the box ticking thing. Oh, we've done that bit, tick that box. It's not like that. This is a long ongoing process if we are to see actual change and acknowledgement. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it there today. I might do another video if it feels appropriate, and if there's been a shift or something's come up for me in my process. But yeah, if you've watched to the end, thank you very much. Don't know why I'm saying that, that's just what people say at the end of videos. Don't really know how to end, but I'm going to continue, and let's make this an open dialogue, and just keep talking about it, and just keep making it a conversation that's there, so that it doesn't go back underground again. We're at a point where things are moving. Let's keep it moving, and a lot of that is I need to keep it moving as a white person. I need to keep working on my stuff. Okay, thank you. And let's keep talking and exploring.